Last time out in Misano. We're all set though for the horsepower rodeo.
And we're underway here in Austin. A good start there from all riders on the front row, particularly Marc Marquez, who shoots through immediately.
He's inside that top four already.
Yeah, brilliant from both he and Joan Mir, but Marc Marquez, plan A, executed perfectly. He leads
tight line into turn one to pick up some places. Rins is really aggressive here early on. He's now up into the podium places. Up the inside of Bagnaia, Alex Rins is going to be
struggling. Mir in particular over the crest through turn 10.
I'm just going to say, as Nakagami boxed in, Miller still in 10th place at the moment.
Marc Marquez leads on the approach to turn 12 from Fabio.
And now then, can he execute plan A? Pecco Bagnaia thought that he'd get his head down, try and gap the field and then manage it as perhaps fatigue on Pecco Bagnaia.
We head up towards turn 16. Fabio Quartararo keeping his eyes about where Pecco Bagnaia finishes at the moment. His championship rival is in 4th. Brad Binder made up a couple of places on this opening lap as well. He's up in...
And he's already clawed his way up inside that top 3. Marquez leads then by just under 3/10 of a second. Quartararo second, Rins third and Polman
then still in 9th place. Pol Espargaro just behind these two, and then it's Alex Marquez.
Yeah, Miller will just be waiting for that choice for the second half of the race, perhaps when some of the grip ahead of him fades. Marquez then in position 8. Quartararo still in that sector. It's gone through the Pecco Bagnaia envisaged.
No, not at all. From pole position, and he's got work to do immediately. Then down X Rins just in the background there. Pecco Bagnaia has now got trouble in the form of Taka Nakagami.
Yeah, the exchange and overtake there down the hill into turn.
There is Alex Rins there in the most recent.
Nakagami's gone down.
He's gone down.
I think it's Taka Nakagami.
It is his podium chances once more.
Oh, Taka tumbles in Texas. Not what we wanted to say at all. Sometimes when there's these pressure atmospheres in turn 12, the Hondas have struggled in turn 12, stopping at the end of the back straight. Nakagami sadly though down and out.
Line then to complete lap 2. It's still Marc Marquez that leads. Fastest lap of the race to Jorge Martin.
Yeah, this is an excellent job by Jorge. Been absolutely awesome. 2:04.859, the best lap of the race coming in from Jorge Martin. Bagnaia though starting to get into his.
Some turns, the changes of direction. Nakagami has remounted, but is stone last. 21st for the Japanese rider. This is how it
firing, which you would think in theory is going to give him the superior grip, the better grip towards the back end of this race. It should be more durability.
Marc Marquez did say, look out for Jack Miller, 10th on the grid. That qualifying certainly did not give away exactly what the speed is. That's looking very good indeed, and a proper threat. The rookie in 4th as we cross the line.
Yeah, Jack Miller's the man to watch. Here comes ahead of his fellow Spaniard. Now who's got the advantage? They sweep down the hill into this fast turn number 2. It's advantage Alex Rins. Jack Miller's the man second quicker than anybody else around in the Aussie.
Yeah, he's a bit angry after what happened yesterday, isn't he? The Australian on Jorge Martin.
Rins knew the significance of making that move back on Martin immediately into the first corner, because if you get stuck behind a Ducati, it's so hard the risk of Marquez and Quartararo just gapping him a little bit. So that was imperative that Rins made that move, although he might get swallowed up here now down the back strop. There's no might in it, was there? There was no might in it. That was just effortless for Jorge Martin. Just wound that Ducati off the top gear. Good battle here.
Yeah, taking lumps out of each other there, Mir and Binder. Mir retaliates immediately. Here we go then, round turn 3rd. Around this stage of a race where Marc Marquez really starts to show his cards and pull away, but at the moment Quartararo
at the front, Jack Miller in the 204s. Just feel there's a bit of energy and tyre conservation going on here right now, particularly from your race lead at the top of the hill, in at the first corner, getting a good eye on this one.
Somebody's gone down. Who has just crashed?
That was at the first corner.
The Frenchman, and his poor form unfortunately continues. The Pramac Ducati rider is down and out.
Well, he scored just...
Quartararo starting to get warmed up into this one nicely, isn't he? He's taken a 10th out of Marc Marquez in turn.
Or at this stage in a Cota battle, Marc Marquez is normally about 2 seconds clear. Not so in 2021. We know it's a different Marc Marquez this year.
Between Martin and Rins, hang on a second. I thought Martin was going to have a look at Quartararo then. He's looking very good, isn't he?
Yeah, what I saw actually braked slightly early, and Rins had to dive past it. He had the back of the ground, had to leap, and he pulled it off perfect, but the braking...
It's a 9/10 of a second gap between Marquez and Quartararo in second place. There it is from the helicopter.
Yeah, Marquez got his into the 204s with the Repsol Honda man, so Marquez took half a second out of Quartararo on that lap number 6.
He does not feature in his championship fight. Second place to Marc Marquez in Austin is not something to be sniffed at, and it would be
struggling big time, Steve, on that last lap. Bagnaia did a 2:06.123. He hasn't got the pace at all. He's dropping back in the background there. You can see Pol Espargaro is having a good ride. He's just moved up ahead of Enea Bastianini. He's up into 9th. Was able to claw back on him in the braking zone for turn 12. Alex Rins likewise. He also was back in the 2:06s on that previous lap. Rins and Bagnaia, two men we thought were going to be in serious podium contention early on.
There's the move from Miller on his teammate Pekka.
Max fighting for the World Championship, and then Jack was super strong to make the move on the inside of Alex Rins into turn 12.
Lap of the race, a 2:04.3 from Marc Marquez, who's opened up now a 1.5 second lead over the World Championship leader.
Ducati will be relying on him to take some points away from Fabio Quartararo, with Bagnaia struggling at the moment, still in the mid 2:05s. Pecco Bagnaia in 6th.
In line for what would be his 4th MotoGP podium. He's 3rd, 6/10 clear of Jack Miller in 4th.
Points will be like gold for the World Championship, particularly with Bagnaia struggling, so it just doesn't make any sense what.
Yeah, I completely agree. There is Bagnaia, Binder, Mir. Here is Enea Bastianini, as he so often does. He Spargaro.
A bit further back, Andrea Dovizioso has just been passed by Aleix Spargaro for 13th. Luca Marini in the points.
Straight on in the background there. I'm not sure who that was, but someone went way too deep into turn 12. Team 1.7 now, his advantage. Is he going to post another lap record as he comes around the final corner?
Quartararo's just set his personal best lap of the race at 2:04.761, but that was still 2/10 slower than Marc Marquez, what we were expecting from the man who qualified so well in pole, although he blitzes by Alex Rins' factory Suzuki, so that's at least another
guy. Then safely moves up into 5th place. Jack Miller just up ahead of him has clawed a 10th or 2 back on Jorge Martinez.
Bang in the middle of turn number 12. Alex Rins almost running to the back of him because Bagnaia knew that just using that little bit of extra acceleration.
At the moment, championship-wise, this is going perfectly for Fabio Quartararo. 20 points he would take to the halfway point of the race. 10 laps gone, 10 to go.
Have been here before, of course. Marc Marquez was late 2 years ago at turn 12. You can't really see history repeating itself here today for the 8 times world champion. He's 2 points, and it is Marc Marquez.
Well, they are the 3 circuits that stand out, aren't they, when you look at a MotoGP calendar? Marc Marquez, they are the 3 circuits where you just knew Marc Marquez was going to bring out the big guns, and he has done so.
You always got a sense that he'd have chalked this one off thinking this is a great chance to take his 2nd win of the season.
Back in Sachsenring and Aragon as well, he was playing down his chances for most of the weekend, but there's just been a different World Championships. He does not want to lose here in Austin again. He wants his crown back.
Between Marc Marquez and Jorge Martin for rider of the day at this stage, because Martin is doing absolutely brilliant. We're looking at him now from Jack Miller's. Jorge Martin's just brilliantly keeping that gap to around 3-4 tenths. In fact, he's eked it out. He was a little bit quick on that last lap over Miller.
Absolutely peeling away from the pack at 2:04.5, just for good measure as well. No one's even within half a second.
Jack Miller got left. Miller's 7 tenths behind Martin, and he's 8 tenths clear of
Santi Hernandez, keeping a close eye on Marc Marquez. It's fair to say that in these treacherous parts of the circuit, the Honda coping with the bumps very.
It was 8 tenths through sector 1. It's now up to 9 tenths. So Jack Miller, we thought he was good. We've said that a few times previously before here at the circuit of the Americas in Texas. Marquez 3.5 seconds clear now. Into Martin. I mean, on that last lap, he was only 3 tenths slower than Marc Marquez. Martini didn't expect it from himself after you listened to his comments post-qualifying yesterday.
There you go. Jack Miller clearly knew exactly who it was behind him in 2021. I wonder if Miller just knows he's struggling a bit. He knows exactly what Bagnaia needs. Rounds ago that if he can help Pecco Bagnaia, then he will. And he's not exactly in a race-winning position at the moment.
He was top 2 in all 4 practice sessions going into qualifying yesterday, and his weekend has kind of unravelled in that
Miller then allowing Petride and did not succeed.
Yeah, well, Pecco Bagnaia's got his hands full to cut that gap. He's got to find 2, either tyre-wise or physical-wise, to bring Bagnaia back into contention for the podium.
In Austin, Marc Marquez in complete control, 3.6 seconds up the road ahead of Fabio Quartararo, the world champion. Quartararo here this year. He's done what he's failed to do in the past. He's remained consistent. He's made the bad days second to go.
3.5 seconds clear of Fabio Quartararo, who's then got a big buffer back to Jorge Martin. And be relieved that there's no 20 vital World Championship points. They'll feel like gold, won't they? Because this man's victory charge just hasn't materialised.
Juan Mir. Here we see Miller's pit board. Bagnaia. Maybe that was the signal. that he needed.
He said if there was any chance for Pecco Bagnaia to reel Martin in, there was no sense in trying to further delay. Absolutely brilliant, showing the class of the Rocky sensation, the Martinator. He's getting the pitfall there. 2 seconds he is, and Quartararo ahead of him.
Quartararo himself only a tenth off Marquez in terms of his lap times.
Pressure here from Alex Rins, big pressure, and he can't resist, although in a little bit hot. Alex Rins on the cutback. Miller should have him. They look to resist the Suzuki man behind him.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to take for Jack Miller after how good he was looking. To fifth place finishes, and at the moment the speed that Rins and Mir have got, it looks like it might get a bit worse yet for the Australian.
And Jack Miller, after an impressive charge through to 4th place, unfortunately that looks from Mir too.
And here Bastianini, credit to the Italian on the 2-year-old Ducati's closing on the tail of Brad Binder. The first time Bagnaia was quicker than Jorge Martin, so the gap down to 1.8.
4 seconds now. Laps 6 and 7, they were the 2 crucial laps, successive fastest laps of the Grand Prix. That's when he made the crucial break from he knew as well, didn't he, that by putting that early pressure on Fabio Quartararo, it was unlikely that Quartararo was going to take any lockdown into championship mode.
Simon, your thoughts and observations at this stage with 5 to go?
Yeah, my thought there, Teeth. Pretty much everyone out there, and it's also the stage of the race where it's easier to make a mistake.
Point there, and there are going to be 1 or 2 that suffer. Keep your eyes on this battle between Martin and Bagnaia. Bagnaia on this lap has cut the poor start he made to the race.
Yeah, we wonder whether Jorge Martin might tire and fatigue towards the end of this. Found it in a couple of big battles of late with his recovering body, but at the moment still resisting. 1 point, and he'll see now the gap 1.3 seconds back to Bagnaia, who's got time, 4 laps to go. What was the difference in lap time?
Now Bastianini has made up a spot. He's gone past Brad Binder. He's into 8th, the Italian. Excellent work. Pressure now, and he's made a mistake, and the gap then comes right down to just a few tenths between himself and Bagnaia in the fight for 3rd.
Definitely, Matt. I honestly can't believe that a rookie's turned up to probably the most physical, I'd say definitely the most, or he is extra suffering, because as a rookie you use less of the machine, you use more of your body to do the...
Add insult to injury, he's been defending this 3rd place valiantly, but now he's got a long lap penalty and it's immaterial.
Run off, whether he just tired and just didn't have the energy to change direction, or whether he just had a big bump and it fixed him off the circuit. Oh, poor off.
The cut, is it that if they get penalised for, it's for not losing enough time through that when you do cut it.
Could well allow Rins and Miller to get by him as well. Pecco Bagnaia then limits the damage being done to him by the championship.
But 4 points that he can ill afford to surrender to the Frenchman, as we're coming up now to the back end of this hostage over Fabio Quartararo.
Yeah, it's been an outstanding ride from Marc Marquez, more than solid. He's got to take a long lap penalty. Rins is 5th, Miller 6th, Mir 7th. Mir is being caught by Enea Bastianini, who's lapping very well
into turn number 5, and that's what's going to cost, unfortunately, Jorge Martin the podium. You could argue that he didn't really deserve.
He's going to take his crown back here. There's 2 laps left. Further back, Bastianini is right on the tail of both Ducati.
Super impressive again by Enea Bastianini. He started this race down in 16th place from Marc Marquez at the moment.
There you can see in the background Bastianini. Another few laps, and he'd be careful because there'll be further penalties to come.
That's the thing, isn't it? He could be losing more points here.
Marquez has been imperious here. Pramac Ducati are keeping an eye on things, but he's not going to be getting on.
Has been a one-man demolition job. It's been an exhibition like we've seen so many times here in Kota for Marc Marquez. 7, as we said, when he really got his head down, got the hammer down, was able to break the gap to Fabio Quartararo to over a second. Quartararo looks like too many men more disappointed with the 3rd place than Pecco Bagnaia post-race.
So often we've shown up here in Austin.
Forward in his career, you can hear the American fans. They've appreciated this ride from Marc Marquez. It's been absolutely...
Just the final sector left then for Marc Marquez now. In front of the grandstand, Alex Rins. A great effort from Jorge Martin. Doesn't really deserve that.
No, what a race. What a race by Jorge Martin.
7 wins in 8 visits. The King of Kota is back on his throne. Captain America is Pecco Bagnaia in the end, 3rd. Rins takes 4th ahead of Jorge Martin, who had to take a long lap penalty, and Bastianini does get 6th ahead of
Last 25 races on American soil. An absolute masterclass by Marquez then, being on the Circuit of the Americas in Austin T9. Nicky Hayden flag being presented to Marc Marquez. Get the donuts ready as well for the podium.
Sure, absolutely over the moon. Pecco Bagnaia, congratulations from him. He's on the podium again, but it's not the result that the Italian wanted. And Matt, as we go heading into the next round of MotoGP, let's go down into pit lane. Tetsuhiro Kawata is with Simon.